It is time to multiply and divide. I cannot tell you how many people struggle with multiplication and division. What we're going to go over today is a couple of instructions on the most common mistakes people make when multiplying and dividing. I want to go over these things with you because you know what? A lot of people are so used to using calculators, especially now that we have calculators on our phones, and we forget the basic things like multiplying and dividing. I am sorry. Okay, so the point is this. Multiplying and dividing well, quickly, always getting it right, doing it good every single time you do it, is so important to the small steps in all the math sections on the ASVAB. Okay? People who struggle with multiplying and dividing sometimes get them wrong, are too slow when doing it. They're the ones that struggle the most, and they're the ones that score lower on the ASVAB. But you are working on scoring high on the ASVAB. So the first recommendation I'm going to make to you before I even start going over the lesson completely is that you take some time, take a couple days to write out your multiplication tables. So just do like 2 times 1 equals 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. 2 times 3 equals 6. 2 times 4 equals 8. I know it doesn't sound like fun. I know you don't want to do it. But people who do this always improve their multiplication, always improve their score. And why is multiplication so important? Because being able to multiply well affects whether or not you can multiply and divide. Okay? So make sure you take the time to do that. If you're working right now and your schedule's a little hectic, then take a little notebook, have it in your pocket, one of those little notebooks you can get like at the dollar store or something, I don't know. But whenever you have a little bit of downtime, you take that little notebook out and you keep writing your multiplication tables. You do that for a couple days, 3, 5 days, you're going to be amazing. You're going to do so good, and your multiplying is going to improve dramatically. All right, so now that we've talked about that, let's get into multiplying larger numbers, okay? Once again, most common mistake people make, they try to multiply in their head or they don't line things up. Stack these up once again so that you can multiply well, okay? First one, we're going to do 6 times 8, okay? We always do the first times the first. So 6 times 8 is 48. I write down the 8, I carry the 4. Are we going to try to keep a number in our head? No, we're not. We have a lot on our mind, right? You have a lot on your mind. I have a lot on my mind. So I'm going to write down that number right there, okay? 6 times 4 is 24. I'm going to add the 4 now. 24 plus 4 is 28. So our answer here is 288. Beautiful. Now that we've done this first one, let's go to the second one. Looks a little more complicated because now we have 2 numbers down here. So 62 times 34. So we start with this first one and we multiply it over here. Okay? So 4 times 2 is 8. And 4 times 6, now we multiply over here, is 24. Now, to be able to move on to the 3, we're going to have to put a 0. Some people like to just leave a space. I like to leave a 0 because sometimes if you don't leave a 0, your numbers get all like weird and stuff. You don't want that. You don't want confusion. You're trying to score high on the ASVAB. So just to be certain, I recommend you add a 0. So now that we've added the 0, now we can multiply it by 3. So 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 6 is 18. Okay? Now that we've finished multiplying everything here, we're going to add. So 8 plus 0 is 8. 4 plus 6 is 10. I'm going to put that 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 8 is 11. Put the 1, carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. My answer is 2,108. Okay, I hope you got that. Don't worry, you're going to get a chance to practice this in the math quiz that's underneath this video, okay? Let's do one more just to make sure you understand, okay? We're going to do 106 times 28. So we start off with the 8. 8 times 6 is 48. We put the 8, carry a 4. 8 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. Now we move on. 8 times 1 is 8. Now that we've done that, we put our placeholder 0 to make sure things line up nicely. And we're going to do 2 times 6 is 12. Oh, sorry. 2 times 6 is 12. Now I have to carry a 1. I'm going to cross out this 4. And I'm going to put a 1 above it. Why am I going to cross out the 4? I'm crossing out the 4 so I don't get it confused and add a 4. I want to make sure that I add the 1 that belongs there. You don't know how many people make that mistake. I just want you to avoid it, okay? So 2 times 0 is 0, plus that 1 is 1. And 2 times 1 is 2. Now that we've done that, we're going to add these beautiful numbers together. 8 plus 0 is 8. 4 plus 2 is 6. 8 plus 1 is 9. And 0 plus 2 is 2. That's it. We are done. Okay? Everything's looking good. We have just multiplied and we did a great job at it. Now on to division. So many people struggle with division. And I get it. It's not easy. So I really want to go over it with you because I really want you to do well. So I'm going to set it up first. 3 on the outside, 348 on the inside. So we're going to divide into that first number. 3 divided by 3. Okay? 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3, now we times it. Okay, we're going to multiply it. 3 times 1 is 3. So I'm going to put the product down here, and I'm going to subtract them. 3 minus 3 is 0. Now I'm going to bring down a 4. And I'm going to say 3 goes into 4, or 4 divided by 3. But 3 goes into 4 one time. 3 times 1 is 3, so I multiply. Remember, there's like a little multiplication sign there. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. So now that I've done that, I bring down the 8. A lot of people don't like to put the arrows. I like to put the arrows because, once again, we've got a lot on our minds. We might forget to bring down a number. Or we might forget that we already brought down that number. So to make sure we don't get anything confused, we bring down an arrow every single time we bring a number down. So now 3 goes into 18 exactly 6 times. So 3 times 6 is 18. And 18 minus 18, boom, is 0. Okay? Our answer is 116. Is that beautiful? Okay, let's try it again, but this time with 8. So 8 goes into 204. Now this time, 8 is too big and it cannot go into 2. So we're going to do 8 goes into 20. Well, how many times does 8 go into 20? 8 times 2 is 16. And 8 times 3 is 24. Now 24 is way too big, so we're going to stick with 2. 8 times 2 is 16. So we're going to put a 16 down here. We subtract it and we get 4. Now we can bring down our 4. 8 goes into 44. It doesn't do it evenly. 8 times 5 is 40. That's really close. 8 times 6 is 48. that's way too big, so we're not going to use 6. We're going to use 5. So we put a 5 up here, and we multiply. 8 times 5 is 40. And we're going to subtract. Well, we have a remainder. What are we going to do now? Let's turn this into a decimal. So we're going to add decimal 0. And if we added a decimal here, we have to add a decimal here as well. Okay? One more time. We added a decimal here, so we're going to add it up here as well. Now we can add a 0, and we can bring down that 0. And this becomes 40. 8 goes into 40 5 times. Exactly. 8 times 5 is 40, and 40 minus 40 is 0. So our answer is 25.5. Great number. Okay? Now I know turning these into decimals is a little confusing, so just to make sure you get it, I want to do one more with you. So 4 goes into 8, 2 times exactly. 4 times 2, 8. 8 minus 8, 0. Let's bring down that 3. 4 goes into 3. It cannot. 3 is too small. So what do? We do a 0. 4 goes into 3, 0 times. We have to put a 0 here. If we don't put a 0, you're going to get it wrong. So let's put a 0. Now 4 times 0 is 0. 3 minus 0 is 3. Now we can bring down a 2. 4 goes into 32. 8 times exactly. So 4 times 8, 32. 32 minus 32, 0. All right. We are all done. I know this is just a few examples, but it's to give you an idea of how to do this. Make sure you do those multiplication tables to help you get faster and better at doing your multiplication. And make sure to do the drills at the end of this lesson. So as soon as you finish this video, you'll see the quiz right below. If you want to keep practicing with us, just check out our pages on Facebook and Instagram, or you can also text at ASVAB free to 81010 to get more information and invitations to our free ASVAB events. Good luck as you keep studying for the ASVAB.